Hi guys, welcome to my first jewelry tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how I make a very simple wire wrapped Amazonite crystal necklace. I'll go through the tools, the supplies, and the packaging start to finish. So let's start with the tools. I have several pliers that I use, but these are my favorites. I have round nose pliers. These ones, I'm not sure what they're called. Then I have wire cutters and my sturdier pliers that also have a cutter on them. For wire, I have rose gold, gold, tarnish resistant, aluminum, and for cord I have this black cord, a thicker silver chain, and a thinner silver chain. And then I have my Amazonite crystals, my jump rings, and my connector for my necklace, my packaging, scissors, and lastly packing tape. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull out my wire. Now I'm going to flatten it and kind of straighten it. And I'm looking for about 9 to 12 inches. I usually do about 12 to 15, but I'm trying to conserve this wire because I'm almost out. So I'm going to try and do a little bit less. And I'm trying around, looks about 9 inches. I'm just going to snip that with my wire cutters. And then I'm going to find about the center and I'm going to bend it in half and make a loop. Now this is my 18 gauge tarnish resistant aluminum wire. Once I get my loop made, I'm going to wrap it around twice just to make sure it's secure. But I don't want to have too much bulk at the top because I'm going to put my little crystal chips on there. So now I'm going to go through my chips and find which ones I want to put. I'm looking for 3. The biggest one at the top, and then they'll get slightly smaller. There's a few things I'm looking for because these already have holes in them. I can't just put it in the center, and some of the holes are like on the side, and you'll have an odd shape. You'll have one side that's quite larger than the other, and so I'm wanting something a little more centered. So now I've got my 3 crystals that get a little bit smaller but are pretty similar in shape. And I'm going to line them up, push them up to the top, and then I'm going to take my wire that they're on and I'm going to fold it up. As I fold it up, I'm going to wrap around each individual crystal. Sorry, I get a little off camera sometimes when I'm working. I want to make sure that I wrap it tight, go completely around at least once, and then wrap it up the second stone and around the area between the top and the second. And this one, I only made it around once because I'm running out of wire. Mommy, now I'm going to take the top wire that I had in reserve, and I'm just going to pull that down and wrap it around that first gap that I only went around once the first time. And then I only have enough wire to go around this next gap, which is actually perfect because I don't want anything sharp sticking out. So I'm going to take these bent nose pliers that I'm not sure exactly what they're called, and I'm just going to nudge it and then pull it when I need to, but I try to use the end and just nudge it and push it in there because that way I don't damage the stone. And then I'll just give it a little squeeze once I feel like it's secure. And then I'm going to go back to the top, and I'm going to make sure that that wire is also secure and there's nothing sharp sticking out. Now that it's all complete, I want to squeeze it, work with the wire a little bit to make it firm. And I also, want to feel how secure it is, and then I want to look at the presentation and which side do I think looks the prettiest, which do I want to make the front, and then is my loop facing in the right direction to hang on a chain. In this case, it's not. And so I need to attach some jump rings that I will hang from the chain to make sure that it lays the way that it's intended. And now I'm going to pull out my jump rings, and I'm going to use some larger ones for this because I want to make sure that it will go on the chain. And I want it to be similar in size to the loop that I created. So I think that these ones should work, but I will need to use my strongest pliers because these are just a little bit harder to open and to close. Once you get it open, you're going to put your pendant by the loop onto that jump ring, and then you're going to rock the pliers back and forth until you get it lined up. This one got lined up pretty easily. I'm going to put another one on there. With this size, I typically do 2 or 3. I'm going to stick with 2 right now and see how it looks. There. For this necklace, I chose to use my thicker chain. I'm going to need 2 of the smallest jump rings that I have, one for each end of this 18-inch chain that I already cut. And then I have my clasp and my extra jump rings to make a little extender. I notice my other side has a little break in it, where I cut the chain, so I'm just using my my wire cutters to get rid of that last little link, and then start with one that isn't damaged to make sure that the necklace is secure. So now I am making my extender for the other side of my necklace. So I'm attaching 6 jump rings to the end. I start by grouping them in 3. So I just open one, put 2 on that, and then close it up. Then I do that again with another set. Then I go through and attach those 2 together to make 6, and I go through and make sure that each one is lined up and flush, so nothing's going to fall off. I'm sorry I was off camera a lot of this, so I'm going to go ahead and jump forward to where I'm attaching it to the chain. Make sure that it's completely lined up. And now let's go ahead and put our pendant on. Well, here I ran into a problem because I didn't measure my jump rings before I put them on there to make sure that my pendant would actually fit. And I'm using a larger jump ring for the extender than I usually do, and that was my error. So I do have a larger jump ring, and I'm just going to do one. But I've already checked to make sure that it does fit. And then just to save myself a little bit of a headache, I went ahead and attached it directly to the chain. And there you have it. And then we're to the last step, which is packaging. These cards I designed on my own and then printed on cardstock. They have my logo or my company name, Kate Rochelle Gallery, at the top. The bottom they say which collection it is. This is my Amazonite stone collection. And I've got a nice little turquoise crystal icon at the bottom, just to make it unique. Each of my collections has a different little picture on it, different border color. And I'm just using some packing tape to seal it on the back. I cut a strip about 6 inches long, and then I take it and I cut about 1/3 of it, and I line that up at the top just to secure the placement of the necklace. But you do it pretty loose. You want to, just kind of set it on there, let it lie, and then smush it down around the edges. And there you have it. One complete necklace ready to sell.